Hi again guys, I've had a request from a viewer for a tutorial on this 2x2x4 Rubik's Tower puzzle, so yeah, I just thought I'd put a quick one together. It's not too difficult to solve, as long as you follow a few basic principles, which I'll go through obviously as we progress. First of all, as for scrambling the puzzle, it's going to be the same as any other cuboid puzzle. Shape-shifting cuboid, should I say. You need to scramble it in its cuboid state first, so no shape-shifting turn, because as soon as you start shape-shifting you're going to bandage these, so now you can't. You see here, now these two pieces here are bandaged to this block here, so you need to keep it in its normal shape whilst doing 180 degree turns this way, while with many 90 degree turns or whatever you want in this horizontal direction. But yeah, you need to keep it in this cuboid state until it's thoroughly scrambled this way, otherwise you won't get a proper scramble of the puzzle. So once we've done that, we can move into the shape shifting, so let's do that. Obviously there's not too many axes we can turn it on now, we've only got the 3, so it doesn't take much more to get it as thoroughly scrambled as it's going to get. There we go, I think. Okay then, so the first thing you need to do with any shape-shifting cuboid actually, this is no exception, is to figure out how you need to solve the first stage. And the way you do that is figure out how it's turning. So you can see here, I've got one layer there and one layer there, so I've got 2 across that direction. I've got another, on this direction I've got a layer there and a layer there that turns, so that's 2 that way. And the final direction, I've also got one layer there and one layer there that turns. So on every face, I've got 2 layers that turn. So essentially, this has turned into a 2x2 cube. And that's exactly how we're going to go about solving it. Now, you'll see on a lot of larger order cuboids, what you're solving when you do that is actually the outer edges. But what I do on this one is to solve the inner pieces. So I'm actually solving the centres on each face as a 2x2 cube, which if you're trying to attempt puzzles like this, hopefully you should already know how to do. So I'm not going to go into great detail, I'm just going to do kind of a walkthrough solve about how I do it. So I can see straight away that I've got an orange yellow here, an orange yellow there that can be paired up together as a start of one face. So obviously then I need to find the other orange pieces to finish off that face. See there's one there, the orange green, so let's just insert that into a position and see where it fits. There we go. See that now I'm getting my orange face, so I just got my final orange piece around here, so I just insert that like we would any piece on a 2x2 cube. So that's my bottom layer of the 2x2 cube finished. So let's place that on the bottom and see what we've got on the top. Now it's not immediately obvious unless you memorise the colour scheme exactly what colour is going to go on top, so you're going to have to examine things. Now you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 red pieces that are unsolved. I can see I've got 2 greens and 2 yellows. So obviously the top is going to be red, which is opposite orange, which is actually right on this case, but obviously if we're doing it the other way around, we've got green opposite yellow, which isn't obvious. It isn't obvious that that's a colour scheme that you would use without examining things. So, but it's easy to figure it out. Like I say, you just count how many unsolved pieces you've got. So I need to do exactly as you do on a normal Rubik's 2x2, I use the beginner's method, so all I'm going to do is soons to orient the top layer correctly. So you put one on the front left that's oriented incorrectly, so that it is facing the red piece is facing me, and just do a soon. So R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. And then we put the solved piece at the back right, so the correctly oriented piece at the back right, so that a red piece is facing me again, and then do the R anti-soon. So R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U prime, R prime. And you can see we've now got all our reds oriented correctly. So let's see where we are in the solved position. You can see that I've got 2 that are together there. So if I put that, line that up there, that's easy. So I've got 2 that are incorrect. Now all this is, it looks a bit weird, but basically you've got these 2 corners swap position. So if you swap these 2 corners with each other, everything will line back up into a cuboid state. You can see that as soon as these two red and yellows are solved with each other, the two that are attached to them go into their correct positions to form the cuboid shape. And the same will happen once we solve these two. Now you can choose your own method for swapping these two around. I'm just going to use a basic beginner's method that I use on the 3x3 etc. So it's R prime F, R prime B2, R, F prime, R prime, B2, R2. So let's put everything back. You can see that everything on those centre two layers is now solved, and as I said, everything's back into cuboid shape. So all we've got remaining to do is to solve the top and bottom layers, and we're going to solve that with regular cuboid algorithms. Now hopefully you should be familiar with some cuboids, but just in case I will go through this in a bit more detail. Now first of all, have a look at your bottom layer. I can see straight away, I mean it could have been around here somewhere, but see what you can line up on that layer just by turning it. And I can see that I can line up two pieces, get them in this solved state. So obviously we'll put those where they belong. So that means we've got two remaining pieces that are incorrect. This piece is in the right layer but in the incorrect position, and one in the top layer. So let's start with that one, because once we put that one in there, that'll bring this one to the top layer and we can solve that afterwards. So this algorithm moves a piece from the front right to the bottom right. So you put the piece, see red, yellow, blue here on the front right, red, yellow, blue, which is where it needs to go. So they're on the front right of the puzzle, and then you just do this: R2, U, R2, U prime, R2. That inserts that. You can see it's brought that other piece up to the top. That needs to go here, so yellow, blue, orange is where it belongs. Place that below it here on the right hand side. What you need to make sure is that you don't turn the puzzle around in the meantime, because as you can see, what's happened is it's flipped this right hand face by 180 degrees from its, see that's its solved position, but that process has flipped it. But as we insert this piece, that will flip it back again. So make sure you haven't rotated the puzzle, and your right hand side, that the face that was your right hand side before is still your right hand side. And then we'll do the same algorithm again. So R2, U, R2, U prime, R2. You can see that's fixed our right hand face. Everything is back to being solved on the centre two layers, and our bottom blue layer is now solved. So all that remains is to sort out our top layer. Now, as with any cuboid, what you're going to look for is kind of headlights. Now, you obviously haven't got any edge pieces to look between them, but you want to look to see if you've got any two pieces that are basically solved on the same face. If you have, put those on the left hand side. If you haven't got the headlights, then just perform this algorithm I'm about to show you once, and that will give you a set of headlights, and then you just do the process from here on. So the algorithm swaps the two corners on the top right hand face of the cube. It will swap that one with that one and that one with that one, and that will basically solve the puzzle. So with those two on the right hand side that we need to swap, the two solved ones on the left, we do this following algorithm. We do R2, U, R2, U prime, R2, U prime D, R2, U prime, R2, U, R2. And you see that in this state the puzzle is now solved. Okay, now you may find that once you've finished your top layer corners, that you've got this situation, which is basically a parity situation. Now there's two easy ways of doing that. If you've done the little 2x2x3 tower, as I know the person that requested this video has, you can solve this very easily. If you put the unsolved pieces on the right hand side of the puzzle, so the orange and the orange at the front and the red at the back need to swap with each other, and then you just do R2, U2, R2, U2, R2, U2. That will solve the puzzle. However, what I would actually recommend you do, let's just put that back where it was, is to solve it this way, because the way I'm going to show you now actually works on larger order puzzles, whereas the one I've just shown you doesn't tend to work very often. So it's better to get to know this algorithm really if you want to solve higher order puzzles, as it works a lot better, it's a lot more versatile. So if you put the two pairs that need to swap on the front of the puzzle, so you've got your orange here on the left and the red here on the right, you then do a U2 where the U2 actually splits along the centre of the puzzle between the two pairs that need to swap. So you can see I'm turning half of the pieces that need to swap away. So do a U2, you then do an R2 and an F2, you then do a U2 again on the centre layer, and one more U2 which is just on the top layer, and then you just reverse what you did before, which is the F2, R2 and the original U2, and you see that also solves the puzzle. Okay then, hopefully that's explained everything you need to know about solving this puzzle. If you've got any problems, please do let me know. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care now. Bye.